Spring Hill is one of the most affordable places left near Tampa, but affordability doesn't mean you would automatically want to live here. So today I'm breaking down everything: cost of living, schools, crime, lifestyle, commute times. And by the end of this video, you'll know if Spring Hill is a good fit for you or if you should consider looking elsewhere. If you're new to this channel, my name's Frankie Gomez. I am a licensed realtor and I was born and raised in Spring Hill, Florida. So if you have any questions or you're looking to make a move here, you can reach me directly using the contact information below. You can also get a copy of my free Hernando County moving guide, which gives you everything you need to know before moving to Spring Hill. As always, if you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video and subscribe for future videos. Spring Hill is located in Hernando County, which is about 45 minutes north of Tampa. Depending on where in Spring Hill you live, as you can see my blue dot here, I'm about 40 minutes to the airport, assuming the traffic is minimal. You pretty much just take the Suncoast Parkway straight there, so it's very accessible. You're also about an hour and 45 minutes, hour and a half maybe, to Orlando, depending on where you're headed. And then 15 minutes to Hernando Beach, 15 minutes to Pine Island and Weeki Wachee. A good proximity depending on what you're looking for. You're not in a big city here, you're in a suburban, spread out, mostly residential community. Spring Hill is not a master plan community like, say, Wesley Chapel. It's not urban like Tampa. It's mostly single family residential, even though there has been some more apartments going up. And you have a mix of older homes ranging from the 70s all the way to the early 2000s. And then you have new construction, and then mix in a dozen or maybe 2 dozen HOA communities. So with the most recent data we have, Spring Hill has an estimated population of roughly 120,000 people. Median home value, according to niche.com, is $288,000, but it's definitely closer to $330,000. I just did a video on this, a market update. I'll link that in the description below if you want to check that out. The national average, according to Niche, is $332,000, which would put Spring Hill in that range, but I believe this is probably low too if this number is low, and I believe the national median home value is closer to $400,000. Median rent is pretty close. I would say it's in the $1,600 to $1,800 range, depending on the type of property you're looking for. And then one more thing here. According to niche.com, Spring Hill is 85 out of 380 for suburbs with the lowest cost of living. It's 96 out of 380 as far as the best suburbs to buy a house in Florida. And then it's 181 out of 380 for the most diverse suburbs in Florida. Now let's talk about median home price. Now I know a few minutes ago I said that the median home price is around $330,000, and I misspoke there. That's for Hernando County. For Spring Hill, which excludes bigger areas like Weeki Wachee and Brooksville, Spring Hill's median sales price is $303,000. You can quickly compare that to Tampa, which is closer to $450,000, and Wesley Chapel, which is typically around $430,000. That price gap is why a lot of buyers start looking in Spring Hill. Now, property taxes is a different story, and that's where things are a little bit more equal. Yes, Hernando County does have a lower millage rate, a millage tax rate, compared to Hillsborough or Pasco County, which makes your taxes cheaper, but it's not a huge difference. Across the board, Florida property taxes have gotten higher. The good thing is we still have no state income tax, and there are talks of abolishing property taxes, but we'll see where that goes. Hernando County does have a free calculator where you can estimate your property taxes. It's located on the Hernando County Property Appraiser site, and that link is actually in my free moving guide, so if you want to check that out, you can find it in the description. You can actually type in a specific property and it'll give you an estimate based on the inputs that you put in. I will say it does estimate high. Now let's talk about the big one, insurance. Insurance in Florida is pretty expensive everywhere, and Spring Hill isn't necessarily immune. And that's because older roofs and flood zones can really skyrocket your premiums. The good thing is most of Spring Hill is classified as an X flood zone, which doesn't require flood insurance, which would keep your home insurance down. And what that actually means is that FEMA classifies it outside the 100 and 500 year floodplain, making it less risky. So when you see the headlines of insurance premiums spiking, it's mostly due to coastal homes and homes with older roofs, or homes that have put a lot of claims in recently. For a brand new construction home, you can expect premiums around $1,200 per year or $100 per month. And for an older home with a new or newer roof, you can find rates between $1,400 and $2,200 depending on the age of the home and overall condition. Now, I alluded to this a little bit in the beginning of the video. The reason people look into Spring Hill is because it's affordable compared to neighboring areas. So I wanted to jump right into the MLS and show you guys some different options. I filtered the criteria to include $380,000 to $420,000, which is kind of right in between both median sales prices for these areas. I'm looking at Spring Hill, Weeki Wachee, and Tampa. Private pool on, here's the cities, and then just the price, keeping it generic. I want to be able to show you guys different square footage and what that all looks like based on the area. So if we go to page 1, Spring Hill takes up the whole page. Page 2, Spring Hill at the top, and then probably about a dozen and a half of Tampa, and then there's 3 Wesley Chapel homes that fit the criteria of 380 to 420 with a pool. So if we just start off with Wesley Chapel, this is the largest home out of the 3. It's 1,745 square feet, built in 2005, listed for $399 to $3,200 with a private pool. I'm not gonna go through everything, but I just wanna give you an idea. I guess there's only 15 pictures, so I might as well. There's the pool. $400,000 on market 43 days and 1,745 square feet. That's $228 a square foot. If we go back to the results, we go to Tampa's largest home, which would be this 2,000 square foot home on 19th Street. This is 2,000 square feet, $399 on days, 272 days on market. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a private pool. If you check out the pictures though, it needs updates. It's also, I'm not sure exactly where it's located. It's not what I meant to do. It's right off the Fowler Ave near University. Now, if we look at Spring Hill's largest home, where am I? Why can't I see my single line display? Oh, all right. Go to page 1. Here's a 2,500 square foot house on Alhambra in Spring Hill. This one is, I didn't look at the lot size, but this is a 0.76 acre lot. Obviously those other 2 were not on large lots, you could just tell. And then here is what you get in Spring Hill. I did not set this up, I just picked through. Obviously I would have picked a nicer house. This obviously needs a kitchen eventually, but overall the specs you're getting, this is 400,000, 2,500 square feet, and on a 0.76 acre lot. So the proof's in the pudding there. I mean, you're farther from Tampa, the airport, and some of the amenities that Wesley Chapel and downtown Tampa offer. But if your focus is on space and affordability, there's really no comparing these 3, but these are like the biggest 3 to compare, because if you're not buying in Spring Hill, you probably started looking in like more south. Ocala would be another comparable, but the prices are probably the same, maybe a little bit lower compared to Spring Hill. Let's see if I could just find another example in Tampa here, maybe a good one that could support their case. 1,800 square feet, 385. Let's look at this one, Hampton Beach Place, built in 2004. That's a condo. I don't know why that came up, or the townhouse. That's why it looked like a good deal. Let's go to this one here, 385, 1,886 square feet. This looks like a cute home. See, this is nice. The lot size is 0.16 acre. There's no garage, but location, and built in 1977, by the way. It is, yeah, in the one, I was gonna say Palmacia, but that's not it. It's southeast of Tampa. So not even really downtown or close to Hyde Park or anything like that. So yeah, I think that kind of proves it. I'll give you one more here in Wesley Chapel, 380,000, 1,600 square feet with a pool, single family residence. Go back to the listing. This one's in a community with $100 per year HOA, and it's a nice house. Needs a little bit of updating. Try and get to the pool here pretty quickly. Nice pool, and at least some yard. 380,000, 1,600 square feet, 0.21 acre lot. Let's go, sorry, this might be a longer segment than I wanted it to be, but I only showed you one house in Spring Hill. Let me just pick one at random here. 2010, 395, 2,800 square feet, another 2-story. Here you go, pretty decent. I'm trying to get to the pool, but it's taking too long. Here's your pool in the backyard. And then one more for funsies. Pristine Place is a good neighborhood. That's 1,900 square feet, $399 in Cornwall. Nice kitchen, nice updated bathrooms too. These pictures don't do this one justice in my opinion. And that's in Pristine Place, one of the more desirable communities. It's only been on market 12 days. So yeah, I think that gives a good idea on what I'm talking about. Main takeaway here is that Spring Hill, like I mentioned, is more affordable. You'll get a little bit more for your money, but there's some trade-offs there when it comes to some of the other things that we're going to talk about later in this video. One thing that people tend to ask me about a lot when they give me a call about Spring Hill is asking about neighborhoods and crime rates. So here's a good way to check it out for yourself. I can't really talk about it too much. Could be defined as steering you in a certain direction, but I can show you the resources that I would use. So if we zoom in here on Spring Hill, you'll get like a nice map kind of showing different shades of most dangerous to safest. You also can get a total crime index right here. It's 29, safer than 29% of US cities. If we compare that to Tampa, safer than 18% of US cities, and then Wesley Chapel, safer than 64% of US cities. And then I also threw in Orlando because it could be like a comparison to like Tampa or Orlando to get a better idea, kind of scope it for you a little bit. And I didn't know this was going to be this low. It's safer than 3% of US cities. Orlando is just a competing area with the Tampa Bay area. So those two kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, if you zoom in here, you can get a better idea. This is neighborhoodscout.com. I believe I did include this in my Hernando County moving guide, so you could get the link there as well if you do decide to download that. Let me see if this is gonna work. Nope, wrong button. All right, I'm gonna have to click this manually and then drag probably. That didn't work. So yeah, I mean, you can just get a better idea here. It definitely has like neighborhoods all jacked up. Like that's not the neighborhoods, but you can kind of zoom in on the map and check the street out of what home you're looking at and then go from there. But yeah, just to recap, Spring Hill 29%, 18% for Tampa, 64 for Wesley Chapel, and then Orlando 3. They also have a breakdown of annual crimes as far as violent property in total. So 251 for annual violent crimes. This is a bigger population, but 1,800 there, 56 there. That's pretty good for the population in Wesley Chapel. But yeah, this is a good resource if you want to look more in more detail. And another important factor is schools. I know some of you watching this aren't going to have kids going to school, but it's still important because if you were to ever sell your house, it might matter to the buyer. So K through 8 only is filtered right now. Challenger K through 8 is probably one of our best schools. It's graded A minus by Niche. Niche is a pretty go-to site for schools. Winding Waters is graded a C+. That's also a K through 8. That's located in Weeki Wachee. So if you're like north of Cortez or 50, you'll be zoned for that. If we go back to like elementary, middle, and high school, all of them. Hernando E School, that's an A. That's not really a school though, it's online. And then Gulf Coast Academy of Science and Technology, that's like almost like a private school, A minus. Challenger there again, A minus. Nature Coast Technical, this is where I went to high school, A minus. Chocochatty, which is right next to Nature Coast, is a B plus. Frank W. Springstead High School, I don't know why I said the whole thing at Springstead, is also a B plus. Suncoast Elementary, B. Brooksville Engineering, I'm not really sure what this is. It's probably like a, what's one of those, like a specialty school. What's up, also a B plus. Powell Middle School, B. Hernando High, B minus. B minus for Spring Hill Elementary. And then Weeki Wachee, also a B minus. So as you can see here, all B minuses. JD Floyd, where I went to K through 8, they don't do K through 8 anymore. They're only elementary now. So yeah, everything is B minus or better. Here's a C plus for West Hernando and Central and Winding Waters. But most, as you can tell, you have a good amount of B plus, A's, A minus. So overall, Hernando County schools have been better. There's been a lot of population growth, and I'd be surprised if we don't see a new school here in the next 5 years. I would hope there would be. But yeah, here's the school ratings. This is niche.com. Now let's talk a little bit about lifestyle and amenities. This is where Spring Hill starts to make sense for the right person, because not only do you have close proximity to Tampa, Wesley Chapel, Tarpon Springs is only about 40 to 50 minutes away. You have major beaches like Clearwater and Treasure Island about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes away. Orlando, an hour and 30 to an hour and 45 minutes. You have Crystal River, which is 40 to 50 minutes north with some of the clearest springs you'll ever see. And on top of that, Weeki Wachee is only 10 to 20 minutes away, which also has crystal clear springs. And you can rent kayaks. I believe you could do mini, like smaller boats as well still. The one thing is they don't let you get out on the Weeki Wachee River anymore. I'm sure people still do, but that was kind of a bummer when I heard that news. You have Hernando Beach for boating and the Flats, which is like a little island people take their boat out to spend the day at. You have Sunwest Park, Buccaneer Bay, Pine Island. I did a full video on the beaches in Spring Hill, so if you want to check out that video, I'll link it below in the description. But Spring Hill doesn't lack the outdoor vibe. Another thing that people tend to forget about or not mention much about Spring Hill is it's right next to Brooksville, which is like a small town historic vibe with a downtown area, local events, family-owned businesses and restaurants and breweries, and just overall a lot more character compared to Spring Hill. But it's definitely not Tampa nightlife, which is where Spring Hill obviously lacks. It's quieter and more relaxed. Now I have to be honest with you guys, there are cons to living in Spring Hill, and I kind of alluded to them a little bit. The first one that I already mentioned is nightlife. Public transportation isn't the best. There is a bus that goes around, but that's about it. You're not going to be walking to restaurants unless you live, on the off chance, live very close to one, or you live closer to downtown Brooksville. And for some people, that's just not what they're looking for. They're looking for the urban vibe, which is going to be found in Tampa, or a master plan community that you'll see in Wesley Chapel, Odessa, or Lutz. And I don't want to put anyone in a box here, but Spring Hill is most likely for retirees looking for affordability, families wanting more space, remote workers, or people priced out of buying in Tampa. Spring Hill is definitely more of a backyard barbecue vibe compared to a rooftop bar vibe. So my final answer to is Spring Hill a good place to live is absolutely for the right person. For someone looking for nightlife, walkability, or daily commuting to Tampa or somewhere more south, then it's probably not the best fit. But if you're one of those people that I mentioned prior, you know, a growing family, somebody looking for affordability, a retiree, someone that just wants to be away from all the hustle and bustle that Tampa has, then areas more north like Spring Hill, Weeki Wachee, Brooksville, even more north into Citrus and Ocala could be a great option. It really depends on your priorities, and if you have any questions after watching this video, you can watch some of my other videos which are linked below and will appear at the end of this video. But if you have any specific questions or you just want to talk to me, you can book a call below, and you can also get a copy of my free Hernando County moving guide. Both of those are linked in the description below. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video.